Well, joined now by Ambassador Joseph Ayalogo, who is a former permanent representative to United Nations in Geneva and also a former U.S. ambassador to Switzerland. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, some of the previous information and perhaps even the fresh ones emanating, if you looked at all of those, would you say that this trip was or will be a very meaningful one?
Yes, thank you. Of course, among the structures for strengthening bilateral relations, state visits the summit is highest. And when it comes where just shortly after the new head of state, the president has taken office, it's even more so. It raises the profile of the country, it raises the profile of the government. And this time, the president knew what he needed to go for. It wasn't just a matter of glitz and razzmatazz. He had a shopping list. He went out there, spoke his mind to the right people, and came back with, will come back with clear answers on the issues that he wants to speak to address as the president. Issues like fighting Boko Haram, dealing with corruption, returning stolen, looted or mismanaged funds, and of course, generally strengthening economic bilateral relations between Nigeria and the United States. So I would rate this visit very high.
Now, there are different interpretations, different ways or angles that the media have written various stories of this visit, but some of them said that the president wanted certain cooperation from the U.S. with no conditions attached. Is that possible in today's world, given the fact that countries always have interest? They think it's give and take.
Well, it's give and take, but I think the context of the president wanting certain things with no string attached must be specified. Well, on the issue of Boko Haram and fighting terrorism and insurgency, he would like that if America, the United States says it wants to help us and is really serious about it, some of the recalcitrants in providing hardware, software, information, intelligence, and so on, just on the basis of some preconceived ideas of not keeping with human rights and so on, will just contradict that commitment. So at least when the president says no strings attached, he is likely to be saying, I need arms, I need information, I need intelligence. Give it to me if you say you want to support me. If you're not giving it to me, then you're not supporting me.
Yeah, but will that mean...
Sorry?
Yeah, but well, if you say, give it to me if you want to help me, but what if they then say, yes, we intend to give it to you, but we cannot violate our laws to give it to you? If the Leahy Act says we can't supply arms to countries who have got human rights violations, are we really going to say they're not cooperating with us because of that reason?
Well, I would, the president would be worried if they say that their laws their law doesn't allow them to give arms. And definitely you need arms to fight insurgency. And some of the human rights issues are not even clearly defined, not proven. I'm sure the president would not be satisfied with that. That's the point he's making. He would not say they are cooperating with him over the issue of Boko Haram. And most Nigerians would also have that view. So I think the president clearly made that point.
So if that were to be the case, then where does that leave us?
Well, all of both parties will go back thinking. I mean, it's not the end of the story. It asks them to review the restriction over selling arms. And I'm sure they will look at it. They will go back and think again, the commitments at the summit at the highest level and the implementation of what was said. I wouldn't say that that is the end of the story yet. Subsequent diplomatic pressures will continue, and we do hope, I do hope that at the end of the day, they will find a way to give us what we need. Otherwise, it is simple. You're not helping us.
Ambassador, how soon do you think that the things that the agreements that we've asked for or we've reached here will materialize?
Well, some of them will have to materialize quickly. We don't know all the details, but definitely, regarding addressing the issue of Boko Haram, there must be things, some of the shopping basket things we need quickly, and if officials at the official level define all those things and come to an agreement that there's a time frame for this and we want it as quickly as possible, then those ones will come quicker than some of other things. Of course, we know that, for instance, fishing out funds that have been taken surreptitiously from the country might take some time, but of course it also may take some time, run into months, but if they have the information, it will be delivered quickly and actions would follow immediately. I wouldn't want to put a finger on specific time frame, but I believe that between now and the next 6 months, 1 year, we should be seeing signs of actualizing some of the things that were agreed upon. And of course, if there is a tendency to foot drag, then we would be, as a country, as a government, will be worried and ask what is happening. Are you really helping us again, or are you not? We must continue pressing for action and timely action.
Well, we'll come to how to keep that conversation going. But, some people will also say that so far what we've heard, or what we heard constantly on this trip, is how the United States can help Nigeria. What is it that Nigeria is offering the U.S. in return?
Well, an enhanced bilateral relations, especially in the area of economy, will benefit the U.S. society, economy, businessmen, and so on. At the time, the U.S. was one of our largest off-takers of oil. Of course, they have worked hard to reduce that, but access to oil supply would be one of the things they should expect. They would also expect cooperation at various levels, political, diplomatic levels, and if we, even on some issues like the human rights, we should begin to offer them something that they want to see, that they are happy to see, human rights, maintaining human rights. And at the end of the day, it's also good for the country, for us itself, because if we are careful about sustaining the human rights issues in our country, and that makes the American and the U.S. happy, then it's good for us. And the U.S. society is interested in seeing democracy thrive. We are so keen on making sure. So these are the things we can offer. Well, we have told them generally what we want. They will tell us what they need, and we'll see where we can converge.
Now, some people say that usually in bilateral relations, especially with the United States and African countries, they usually prefer an exclusive relationship. Can Nigeria really afford to have an exclusive relationship with the United States, excluding other world powers, for instance?
Well, that hasn't been our state policy. We like to keep our neutrality. We like to be able to talk, make the U.S., the big powers feel that each can talk to us and we can talk to each of them too. That is how we can maintain our independence. I don't believe we want to be clustered into blocks. But of course, we don't actually have blocks these days, even though it's there somewhere. But I believe that Nigeria will not want to give up its sovereignty, its independence, its right to make decisions as it suits its national interest.
The reason why I ask that is because, you know, this 4-day visit has been heavily publicized. You know, the United States also seems to have gone out of its way to ensure that it is pretty grand. One will wonder, how then does it, you know, affect a relationship with, say, a country like China? Well,
it shouldn't worry China. I'm sure when they invite the president will go. And there must be things we also want from China. We've also had good relations with China, and it should continue. They shouldn't worry about that. Come to think of it, the U.S. and China are doing pretty good as partners, in bilateral relations. So why should we exclude ourselves?
It doesn't make them any less rivals, and you know how that still is in terms of how these two countries deal with African countries, for instance.
Well, yes, we are an African country, but I wouldn't. Well, let me just say that we are also an African country that can say this is where we stand, and that's how it has always been for over the decades. Even at the height of the bipolar world, we were able to define our position as not here or not there, but where we are in the group of the non-aligned. That has always been our policy, and I believe that it has been well defined globally, and it is respected by people by countries that we say they are our friends. Your friends must be able to respect your position.